Right then, welcome back to the channel. My name is Stephen Howson, and this is a little bit of a loan watch. We're looking at some of the youngsters that are out on loan, going getting experience in the leagues, including Jesse Lingard, and seeing how they're getting on. And more importantly, do they have anything that they can offer Manchester United when they return? Or do we think that maybe they need a little bit more of a look elsewhere on loan? Or maybe it's time to cut our ties with them? Let me know in the comments as we're going along if you agree, you disagree, or you think that we should maybe do something else with some of those players. So first one that we're going to be looking at then is Tahit Chong. Chong's over at Club Brugge. 21 years of age at the moment. Real key time in his development. How is he getting on? What's he supposed to be doing? Do we think he's going to be coming back to the club? So he started the season on a season-long loan to Werder Bremen over in the Bundesliga. He scored on his competitive debut. They seemed to be really hot on him on social media at the time, and things started to look promising, but he somehow quickly fell out of favour over in Germany, and his loan move was cut short in January. He played 15 games in total for Bremen, scoring only one, that goal, but he did assist two. Now, in January, they decided to flip it, and he went on loan to Club Brugge in the Belgian First Division. And he's made a decent impression since he's gone to Brugge, and he's got 1 goal and 4 assists in 8 games so far. So maybe it looks like he's finding a level that might actually suit him a little bit. His time in Belgium is limited because Brugge only have a few games left in their season, so we're not going to be seeing that much more of him. The report saying that he might continue to stay there in Belgium, as it seems like he's settled there, and he said staying another year could give me some stability. Now, for me, I don't think Chong's of the required quality to make it at United, either in the first team or in the squad. So I think going and getting some minutes somewhere, especially at the age he is now, 21, obviously by the time he completes another loan there, it'd be 22. I think this would be the right sort of move for him. I think you could see him moving into a higher tier club following that if he does a full season there and continues to impress. I just don't think he's of the required quality to make it at United. Next up then, and I think this is probably a little bit of a different scenario, is James Garner, Nottingham Forest, 20 years old at the moment. Jimmy's enjoyed an excellent season in the Championship where he spent the first half of the season on loan at Watford, and despite playing 21 times for Watford, United recalled him in January and then sent him on loan to Forest, which looks to have been an absolute belting move. He's getting a lot more minutes. Forest fans are absolutely in love with him. He's become one of the main men for Chris Hughton's side, and he's been producing a series of performances that have been absolutely brilliant from central midfield. He picked up a Man of the Match award against Brentford last time out. He even picked up the captain's armband after Lewis Grabban was replaced late on. If he continues this form in the Championship, Manchester United probably, I think, should look at maybe a lower half Premier League move, or just let him go to Forest again. Because the most difficult thing with a loan is this manager going to still be here? Is this player going to be playing minutes on a regular basis? Because if those two things change, then the loan move is an absolute disaster. Minutes are the most important thing here. Why risk going to another club just because they're at a slightly higher level? The Championship's a perfectly fine level for anyone to learn at. Jimmy's been absolutely killing it. I don't think he could come in and start commanding a place at United next season. But he's this close. He's very, very close to it. And I think I also think that United should go and invest in the summer into a central midfielder. But if they don't, I would not be that disappointed in seeing Jimmy Garner giving some minutes in a United shirt. He doesn't start, but some minutes I think he's more than worthy of. Otherwise, back in the Championship, back at Nottingham Forest, becoming a bit of a cult hero there, and really learning his trade, playing with confidence, and I think that's what we would all like to see with Jimmy. Joel Pereira then, the goalkeeper over at Huddersfield. He's 24 years of age now. It looks like he's been completely passed over with Dean Henderson and De Gea's sort of tussle. I don't think there's much way coming back for him at United, but he did go to Huddersfield to get some minutes under his belt, and he's only been used as their backup goalkeeper. Nightmare. He's only made 1 appearance for them so far, and that didn't go down too well because he did concede 4 goals in that game. And with his contract expiring at United in the summer, I don't think it's looking very good for him at the moment. He is a good goalkeeper, though. He's certainly good enough to be a professional goalkeeper. So I think someone will pick him up, but he might have to drop down a couple of levels before he really finds where he's at. And speaking of Pereiras, Andreas Pereira, 25 now. That snuck up on us, didn't it? He's at Lazio at the moment, and he's also struggling while out on loan. He struggled for game time, big time in Italy. He's only started 2 games for Lazio, and they do have the option to sign Pereira for 21 million at the end of the season. How high were they when they negotiated that, for starters? It looks extremely unlikely because they just haven't utilised him in any way, shape or form whatsoever. A pure Donny van der Beek move for Lazio in the way they brought Pereira in here. Does he come back to United? For me, no. I think you could see how quickly he was jettisoned from the starting 11 once Bruno arrived. I'm actually amazed we managed to play him so much prior to Bruno coming in. I think United have moved on. I think Andreas Pereira really needs to move on. He's a talented player, but I think he thinks he's a lot better than he is. And I think if he simplified his game, tried to keep it a little bit simple, he could really have an impact in the game. And he's gone to Lazio. He's not gone to Luton. I think there's a player in there, but it's not a United player for me. Dylan Levitt. I love Dylan. Dylan Levitt Ultras. Travelled all over the place to go and watch him playing for Wales. He started the season on loan at Charlton. This was in League One, and that was cut short because they only started him for 3 games. And it was good to see United act on this because we've seen loans before from United. We've seen Matty Willett go to Utrecht. We've seen Cameron Borthwick-Jackson go to Wolves, where they've started off well. Something's happened, usually a change in manager, and then they've just not played, but they've stayed there for the entire season. This time United had a bit of bollocks about them. They brought them back. It looked like Levitt was going on loan to a Premier League team, I think, but then it fell through. It was going on loan somewhere, and it fell through. Dylan wanted minutes before the Euros, and this is where he's managed to get them, and he's gone and joined Croatian side NK Istra. No, this isn't some sort of like mad football manager experiment. This is actually happening. And he's gone there for the remainder of the season. He's made 1 appearance off the bench at the start of March. He's definitely going to be hoping for more minutes before the season comes to its conclusion. I have spoken to Dylan since he's been over there because I was like, why Croatia? And he said it was literally just down to minutes. And I asked him what the language situation was like. And he said, pretty much everyone speaks English. So hopefully he gets a few more minutes. We saw a brief cameo from him against Astana last season where he came and he made 100 passes. Phenomenal. That's literally the sort of ball playing ability United are missing in the first team. I think he has to bulk up a little bit, improve on his physicality a little bit because it's probably the weakest side of his game. But the rest of his game, he's almost got those Paul Scholes tendencies where physically not quite on the level of everybody else, but when it comes to his vision, his game intelligence, his touch, and his ability to move the ball around a pitch, almost unmatched. So Dylan, I think, needs this game time, and I think he could probably benefit from another loan. I think he might be a bit more of a late developer when it comes to physicality, so another season on loan for him, not a problem. He's playing international football on a regular basis. He's one of the first names in the team sheet for Wales, which is bananas when he wasn't even close to being even in the squad for the first team at Manchester United. Hell of a player in there. Another season on loan. Somewhere maybe go and give him to Nottingham Forest with James Garner because those two dovetail into each other really nicely. And see if they can compete together in the Championship. Because if you can do it in the Championship, they've got a good chance of doing it in the Premier League. Now then, Ethan Laird. He's gone to MK Dons, 19 years of age, currently injured. Although I think he'll be all right. It was a shoulder injury, nothing too major. He's made 17 appearances. He's got 3 assists to his name. And if you've watched any of the games since he's been at MK Dons, he probably should have 3 times that. He's putting on an absolute play, and the forwards are blasting it over the bar, sending it wide. I've said to him, go and just start trying to shoot, go and try and score. Capable of playing down the wing, and even at centre-back, I've seen him play for England. Ethan has been used as a right-back or a right wing-back predominantly at MK Dons this season. And Russell Martinez says, we love Ethan. He has been fantastic. He's got a lot to work on, but he's got the attributes to be a really top player. And I'd say the same thing. I think that Ethan has got the attributes that differentiate him enough from Aaron Wan-Bissaka to be a threat to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. If United are going looking at Max Aarons and if United are going looking at Trippier because we want someone who's got that output in the final third, I say save your money, don't bother, go and get Ethan Laird back and give him 10, 15 games a season. Play him in the cups, play him when you need to give Wan-Bissaka a night off and watch what he does in the final third. What he's doing at MK Dons right now, he's going to do in the Premier League, and he's getting fouled to death in playing for MK Dons at the moment because people can't handle the movement that he's got from a defender. It'll be a little bit different in the Premier League, but he'll still be making the same sorts of runs. He'll still be making the same sorts of drives. And actually with VAR, we could end up with a ton of penalties because he's lethal. Left foot, right foot, scores goals, creates chances. And for a fullback, that's got all of those attacking attributes. He's not bad defensively. His defensive positioning is good. His defensive reading of the game is also good. He's not world class. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka's got some attributes defensively which can't be touched. But when it comes to being comfortable with the ball at your feet and advancing it up the pitch, something where Wan-Bissaka really struggles, Ethan has got this in absolute spades. For me, he is a future Manchester United right back, and he's certainly someone that I think can put pressure on Wan-Bissaka next season. I don't think you need to wait too much more. I think you give him a bit of an opportunity in pre-season, see what he's about, and then earmark him for the cups, and maybe even some of the games that you think you're going to need someone that's got a bit more progressive ball in them, as long as the rest of the team's defensively sound. Similarly, you've got Diogo Dalot over at AC Milan. Obviously, we saw against Manchester United there in the last round of the Europa League, and I think he's become surplus to requirements following the signing of Wan-Bissaka and following the signing of Telles. He's really dropped down the pecking order, but he's gone over to AC Milan. He had a slow start there, and he's had a bit of a semi-successful spell, as we saw recently. He's made 24 appearances for them, scoring 2 and assisting 2. He looks like he's doing all right there, seems to be enjoying it there. He's making all the right kind of noises there. Maybe that would be a good permanent move for him. He's only 22, but I think the attributes that he's got, I think we can improve on what he's got offensively, and we can absolutely improve on what he's got defensively. So I would say it was a bit of an experiment for Jose Mourinho. It's not worked. I would say move him on and focus on some of the other players that we've got. Far too many passengers at United as it is. Next up then, Teden Mengi. Very, very young for a centre-half to go out on loan this, just 18. Been on loan at Wayne Rooney's Derby since February this year. And I was wondering, did Rooney know about him, or was this someone else that's brought him in? But Rio tells me that Rooney actually wanted him. It was Rooney that was driving it and really wanted him, which is good to hear on both counts, isn't it? It's good to hear that Rooney's got his finger on the pulse when it comes to some of the players that are up and coming in the youth systems, whether that's at United or elsewhere, but also that it's actually him that's wanted him, and it wasn't pushed upon him by someone else, someone either here at United or someone at Derby. And it's good to see that Rooney's got his own ideas about being a manager as well, could go on and become very successful. He's made 7 appearances so far, and Mengi stated he's enjoying his time with Rooney. He said he's a very good coach, goes into a lot of detail. If you've watched Derby under Wayne Rooney, they're quite tricky at set pieces, and you think, where's that come from? Never would have imagined that looking at Wayne Rooney, the player. But Mengi said, I'm really enjoying it at Derby. It's good to be playing regularly in the Championship. It's a tough level. I think I'm coping well, and I am really enjoying it. And earlier this month, he did sign a new contract that's going to keep him at United for another 3 years with an option for a +1 on it. Now, Mengi, I saw him play at right back, and I thought he looked a little bit out of sorts. The game was kind of, obviously, the Championship's a little bit more cut and thrust in the Premier League, and they looked like they was kind of targeting him with aerial balls. He was coping with them, but he was definitely under pressure when he was playing there. There's a real footballer in Teden Mengi, and going on loan at 18, I think shows the belief that United have in him, and certainly the belief that Rooney's got in him. You know, Rooney went into an extremely difficult situation, and the fact that, I mean, I think they were in the relegation zone, hadn't won, needed to be literally transformed, and Rooney's gone in and done that. And to go in and do that, and in the middle of that, trust an 18-year-old centre-half, says lots of things about the bottle Wayne Rooney has got to do that, because I think any manager that would have gone in there goes, we need experience. Centre-half, you need experience. And he's not done that. And he's gone with literally the least experience he can find when it comes to first-team players. And he's gone with a young player while doing it. So fair play to Rooney for that. Fair play for Mengi for actually being good enough to cope with that. If Mengi can cope with playing in the Championship at 18, he's going to absolutely walk the Premier League once he fully matures. So good luck to both of them, Rooney and to Teden Mengi, and let's see how that one goes. I think another loan for Mengi. I think United are going to jettison a right load of centre-halves this summer, but I think he would really develop with another season in the Championship. And I say, Joe what, Rooney, if you've liked him this year, like him again next year and see if you can get him 25 to 30 games sort of region and see how he develops. And then the last youngster that's out on loan is obviously Jesse Lingard. 28, Jesse Lingard. That makes me feel so old. Jesse has had an absolutely blistering start to life at West Ham. And after being completely anonymous at Manchester United and barely even given an opportunity by Solskjaer, he's got 5 goals and 3 assists in 7 games. Bruno Fernandes numbers. In the Premier League, in a West Ham team that is flying, and largely flying because of him. Earned himself a recall to the England setup, and he seems to be really enjoying his football again. Now, what do you do with Jesse Lingard? For me, you do need players of Jesse Lingard's stature, ability, and mentality in the squad. I just don't think you're going to get the Jesse Lingard we've just seen at West Ham back at Manchester United. For whatever reasons, I think Jesse now needs to use this opportunity as a platform to go and establish himself somewhere else, to get himself in favour somewhere, to get minutes somewhere, and to earn himself a move. The figures being talked about for Jesse Lingard, if this was any other player that wasn't on loan out of favour at his parent club, you'd be talking 50, 60 million pound. They're asking for 15 million quid. How does this make sense? They wanted 50 million for Sean Longstaff. How is it 15 for Jesse Lingard? Absolutely tearing it up. Makes no sense to me, but I think he's probably going to have earned himself a move somewhere. It looks like you're not going to have our pants down when it comes to the price, but fair play to him. Completely enjoying life and back in the England setup, so fair play. Right, that is it from me. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Do you agree, disagree? Who are you most excited for out of all of those? Who do you think will come back to Manchester United and smash it? I think you've got the ones I'm looking at here. I would think Garner, Levitt, Laird and Mengi would be the main ones. I think like Andreas and Joel Pereira, it's probably finished for them. It's probably finished with Jesse and Dalot, and I don't think Chong is of the required ability. But let me know, do you agree? Do you disagree? Bang it in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters.